Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the AM Report for HAPS News, the network of now. I'm Alex Mohajer. It is Tuesday, December 22nd, and this morning we're going to be going over the treason. We're going to be going over the hypocrisy, the sedition of the Trump Republican Party with regards to this coronavirus vaccine and their breathlessness to get first in line to receive it. We're going to talk about the coronavirus relief package that was passed through Congress, which leaves a lot to be desired. We're going to be talking about the still ongoing attempts to circumvent the will of the electorate in the by the Congress, Republican members of Congress. All of this and today's top headlines on the AM Report. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the program. I'm Alex Mohajer. If you're watching on the HAPS app, website, or platform, click the award button. Let us know you're enjoying it, or you can leave a comment, whether you're on Facebook, Reddit, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, wherever you're watching. Leave a comment. We'll bat around with you live on air. We have a lot of people joining this morning already. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you. Michelle from Cleveland, good to see you. Michelle says, cuckoo kachoo. Indeed, cuckoo kachoo. Thank you for the high five award, Andrew Italian. It's good to see you this morning. And thanks for the happy holidays award from unverified user. And I hope we can get you verified soon. It's good to see you all this morning. We've got a lot of headlines to cover. And it's a doozy, but first and foremost, Relief Navidad. I stole that from my friend Jonathan Welch. The U.S. Congress has passed a $2.3 trillion spending bill that includes a $900 billion COVID-19 stimulus package that offers $600 in direct aid to Americans making less than $75,000 a year and $300 in unemployment benefits. There is no aid for state or local governments in this new relief package that was passed just late last night, down to the wire rather. So, you know, it's down to the wire, but it happens, leaving a lot to be desired for many people. But the bill does include a $284 billion paycheck protection program for small business loans, $8 billion for vaccine distribution, $20 billion to subsidize the cost of the vaccine so that people can get it for free, $20 billion for COVID-19 testing and contact tracing. So there was some funding in there for actual coronavirus relief. It extends the federal eviction moratorium, but just for another month and some change. It funds $25 billion in rental assistance, $13 billion for food aid to increase the maximum supplemental nutrition assistance program benefit by 15%, $82 billion for education, $45 billion for transportation. Now, a lot of people are saying that this is leaving a lot to be desired. Americans will start getting their stimulus checks next week, according to Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin. But, you know, this $600 is a steep cut from what Americans got earlier this year. And Americans, so far, if you make under $75,000 a year, Americans have received $1,800 to survive for almost an entire year. And that's what the members of Congress think is a fitting relief for people. There is $600 per child added on top. So if you have children, those children will receive $600 each. But again, this is the first relief package in several months, and people are expected to live off this at a time where people are going into poverty and they are hungry and businesses are closing permanently. So it's the first time since the spring that anyone's gotten aid, and people have been struggling to stay in their homes, to keep their doors open. And so for many people, this wasn't enough. But then, of course, there's the House Republicans the Senate Republicans. The vote passed in the House by 359 to 53. The Senate then passed it by a 92-6 margin. And I think it's very important to point out the 6 GOP senators who didn't want to extend this aid to people. They include Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, Ted Cruz of Texas, Rand Paul of Kentucky, Rick Scott of Florida, Mike Lee of Utah, and Ron Johnson of Wisconsin. This episode is titled Traitors, Hypocrites, and the Trump GOP. these are Trump loyalists, and they voted against relief for Americans. So take note of those names, America. Make sure we hold them all to account. So that's the coronavirus relief package, and all I want for Christmas, y'all, is coronavirus relief. I'd like some COVID immunity. Pfizer and Moderna are testing their coronavirus vaccines against the mutated version of the virus that's been found in the UK. This variant has not been identified in the United States, but the CDC says the variant could already be in the US without detection, which is just so feel good. It's just warms the heart, really. And the reason that it could still be here without detection is because we've done such an inadequate job of testing. So we don't have enough testing of Americans to really understand whether this variant, which has already been detected in the UK and all through Europe, exists here or not. But it's likely that it does. So now we've got to wait and see if this new vaccine will protect against this new mutation, or as my mom says, COVID had babies. That's how my mom talks. Yes, it did. So goodbye, Betsy DeVos. Sayonara. Joe Biden has nominated Miguel Cardona to the Department of Education. He's a child of immigrants from Puerto Rico, and he's the Connecticut Education Commissioner and spent 2 decades as elementary school teacher and principal. He will replace the terrible Betsy DeVos, who was much disliked by career civil servants in the education department. And Joe Biden has said that he would nominate a public school teacher to his cabinet, and so he held to that promise. He also said this would be the most diverse cabinet in American history. He's also holding to that promise. So we've got a lot of representation in the new cabinet picks by Joe Biden. But let's talk about some of these hypocrites in the GOP, the Trump GOP. Senator Joni Ernst and Senator Lindsey Graham are under fire this morning because they put themselves first in line for the coronavirus vaccine, and we're seeing photographed, as you see here, photographed taking the coronavirus vaccine after they peddled misinformation, voted against pre-existing conditions protections, and spread QAnon conspiracy theories all year. Joni Ernst was particularly bad about this. Both of them won re-election this year against very strong Democratic challengers, which to me is a little bit baffling because they do not represent their constituents whatsoever and have downplayed the severity of the coronavirus. They've parroted Trump's sort of downplaying of it, even though we know now through those secret recordings by Bob Woodward that Trump knew as early as February of this year that the coronavirus was much deadlier than the flu. And yet Joni Ernst, here's Senator Joni Ernst. Let's watch a little bit of Senator Joni Ernst. This is some video we have here spreading some misinformation about the virus.
Senator Joni Ernst is suggesting government statistics on COVID-19 infections and deaths have been inflated. Ernst is in the midst of a re-election campaign for a second term in the Senate.
Yeah, she was sorry we lost that clip, but she was claiming that the numbers were inflated, that doctors were faking COVID-19 deaths to make more money, that it was just like the flu. And there she is, first in line, getting that vaccine. And who else is first in line? Senator Lindsey Graham, also tweeting breathlessly after parroting Donald Trump's dishonesty about the vaccine. There he is, first in line, while millions of Americans, vulnerable Americans, are still waiting for their vaccine. So thank God for nurses who help people in need and know how to use a needle. Thank God for those who produce these vaccines. Well, where was your concern months ago when people were dying? And we have a death toll of over 310,000 Americans now. And these senators and their hypocrisy never ceases to amaze me. But it's not just hypocrites. It's also traitors. Rudy Giuliani, Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, is being investigated by the feds. The Southern District of New York prosecutors are seeking approval from the Justice Department to gain access to electronic communications by Rudy Giuliani, who's Trump's personal attorney, a sign that the investigation may be intensifying. And what are they investigating? The scope of the current investigation is unclear, but we know that in October 2019, the Wall Street Journal reported that prosecutors from the Southern District were reviewing Giuliani's bank records as a part of an investigation into his dealings in Ukraine. Two of his former associates, Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman, were arrested that month on charges of campaign finance. fraud and have been charged with additional crimes that include wire fraud, conspiracy, and Parnas and Freeman have pled not guilty, but could it be tied into that? We know Giuliani spent some time in Ukraine trying to dig up dirt against Joe Biden, which is really the subject of Donald Trump's impeachment, is that he was trying to solicit a foreign government and hold them hostage with the aid that was due to them unless they dug up dirt on his political opponent. We'll see how that pans out. But Rudy Giuliani under fire. And it's not just Giuliani. The traitors just run deep in the Republican Party. The House Republicans that have supported a Texas lawsuit in the Supreme Court are now meeting with Trump at the White House yesterday to discuss overturning the election results next month when Congress is set to certify the election. Representative Mo Brooks, Republican from Alabama, is spearheading this, which is a long shot. It's a long shot, as with everything. But he organized a couple of the White House meetings that happened yesterday, including a meeting with Vice President Mike Pence. And the people that were present are not fully known, but we do know that Representative Jody Hice, Republican from Georgia, Jim Jordan, Republican from Ohio, Andy Biggs, Republican from Arizona, and Representative-elect Marjorie Greene, QAnon conspiracy crazy Marjorie Greene, Republican from Georgia, were all in attendance. And some of them are not feeling at all ashamed about this. Representative Hice tweeted that he had a big meeting today with real Donald Trump and the vice president, the president's legal team, and the Freedom Caucus and other members of Congress. He's going to lead an objection to Georgia's electors on January 6th. And, he's not the only one. Representative Matt Gaetz is double dipping in the treason and the hypocrisy pool. Not only did he receive his coronavirus vaccine after spreading misinformation and downplaying the coronavirus all year and parroting Trump's fake coronavirus talking points, he also is going to be voting against the Electoral College vote on January 6th when Congress meets to certify the election. So, Representative Gaetz, you are today's dirtbag of the week, really. Double dipping in treason and hypocrisy. Just a real one-of-a-kind Representative Gaetz. A real one-of-a-kind. What do you guys think about this? If you're watching, what are your thoughts? We got a lot of comments. Where are these billions being borrowed from? Says one commenter. If you don't fire the prosecutor, you're not getting the money. Mama Robin says she is scary. So a lot of comments chiming in. Thank you for joining this morning and for commenting. If you're watching on the HAPS app, website, or platform, click the award button. Let us know you're watching. If you're watching on social media, leave a comment. Let us know you're enjoying, and we'll bat around with you live on air. This has been the AM Report for HAPS News, the network of Now. We are live every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, with all of your quick political news and headlines to get your day started right. If you like this journalism, if you like this content, please consider sponsoring it or subscribing. You can do that at haps.tv/@Alex and subscribe. You'll get notifications every morning when we go live, or you can buy me a cup of coffee and do a monthly sponsorship of the program so we can keep bringing you this independent journalism. Really appreciate you all joining this morning. Have a happy Tuesday. Stay safe, everyone, and we'll see you all tomorrow.